Welcome back to BikeBeat. Today we're spending time with a motorcycle that's tiny on paper but huge on personality, the 2026 Yamaha TW200. Think of it as the friendly neighborhood explorer, the kind of bike that asks very little, gives a lot of smiles, and never judges when you point it at a sandy track, a gravel farm road, or a cramped city street. I've spent enough time on one to know where it shines and where it shows its limits, so let's ride through the details, the feel, and whether it deserves a spot in your garage. The first thing you notice when you sit on the TW is how approachable it feels. The seat is low, the reach to the bars is relaxed, and the riding position is neutral, not upright to the point of feeling fragile, and not aggressively forward like a sport bike. The wide, plush seat invites you to stay seated for a while, and the bike's overall ergonomics make it easy to plant both feet on the ground when you stop. That's important because confidence at low speed is the TW's real superpower. The motor is a torquey little 196 cubic centimeters air-cooled single that doesn't chase peak horsepower, it chases usable torque. Around town and on slow, technical trails you notice how the engine pulls without having to rev it hard. Short, tidy bursts of power are available on tap, which means threading through traffic, crawling over roots, or rolling up a steep driveway feels more like gentle persistence than a fight. The drivetrain is straightforward, a 5-speed gearbox with a wet multiplate clutch that feels predictable and smooth. Shifts aren't lightning fast, but they're positive. You don't need to be an experienced rider to get clean, confident gear changes, that's part of the TW's charm. It's not a highway rocket, either long stretches of interstate aren't its element. You can cruise comfortably in the mid to high 40 miles per hour range, and skilled riders have stretched these little twins into the high 50s or low 60s, but you should plan for spirited acceleration rather than freeway apexing. The TW is better thought of as a country lane companion and city flaneur than a long-distance tourer. One of the most striking design cues people talk about are the oversized fat tires. They're not just for looks, those big rubber blocks flatten bumps and grip soft surfaces remarkably well. On sand, the bike floats; on rutted fire roads, the tires act like passive suspension, letting you maintain traction where a thinner tired bike might kick and chatter. That tactile forgiveness makes the TW feel more competent off-road than its displacement would suggest. The chassis itself is simple and long-necked. A relatively long wheelbase stabilizes the bike at low speeds and helps with line holding through loose terrain. The trade-off is nimbleness. It won't flick through tight switchbacks as urgently as a lightweight trail bike built around modern suspension geometry, but you gain a steady, predictable platform that's forgiving to new riders. Brakes and suspension are intentionally modest. You get a front disc that's perfectly adequate for everyday riding and a rear drum that keeps things simple and low maintenance. Suspension travel is tuned for comfort and compliance rather than aggressive compression and rebound control. That means the TW will happily swallow potholes and slow-speed hits but will reach its limits if you start trying to ride it like a motocrosser over big jumps and hard landings. It's a machine designed around reliability and approachable behavior, not lap times. Practicality is baked into the package. The instrument cluster is a no-nonsense speedometer and a few indicator lights, no distracting screens, just what you need to keep moving. There are grab rails and simple mounting points for racks and soft luggage, which makes the bike an excellent candidate for short adventure runs or minimalist overnighters. The fuel tank is small, roughly under 2 gallons. So the TW's range is limited compared to larger bikes. But the upside is remarkable fuel efficiency and lower running costs. The TW is light enough to lift if you ever drop it, lean enough to tuck through tight urban parking spots, and cheap enough to ensure and maintain that it's not painful if you do wear through tires or scuff it on a trail. One of the reasons the TW endures is its simplicity. There are fewer electronics to fail, and many components are straightforward to service. A basic toolkit and a willingness to learn routine maintenance like chain adjustment, oil changes, and basic carburetor care, on models that still use a carb, will keep these bikes in service for a long time. That's a practical consideration for riders who like to tinker, commute, or take a lightweight bike far from dealer networks. If you're thinking about buying one, price is a huge part of the appeal. In the US, the TW has traditionally come in under the $5,000 mark, making it one of the most accessible new motorcycles on the market in terms of sticker price. That's a major selling point. You're getting a brand new, factory warranted bike for the cost of many used larger machines. Expect local dealer fees, destination charges, or small regional markups to alter the final on-the-road cost, but even with those, the TW sits squarely in the value-focused sweet spot. For someone who wants a simple, dependable second bike for weekend adventures or a gentle first ride to learn the ropes, the economics usually makes sense. Let's be honest about limitations. The TW is not a highway tourer. Its modest top end and small tank make long interstate hauls a chore rather than joy. The brakes and suspension aren't designed for aggressive off-road racing. If you're on the hunt for modern rider tech, ABS, traction control, multiple riding modes, or semi-active suspension, the TW won't fulfill those desires in stock form. It's a classic minimalism machine. What you see is what you get, and what you get is a reliable, user-friendly, low-stress riding experience. So who should buy one? The TW is perfect for new riders who want a forgiving platform to grow on, urban commuters who want a fun and economical daily runner, and weekend explorers who prefer a bike that's easy to load, easy to park, and easy to maintain. It's also an excellent runabout for beach towns and rural areas where soft sand, gravel, and unpaved roads are part of daily life. On the flip side, experienced riders looking for outright speed, long-distance comfort at high cruising speeds, or modern electronics should look elsewhere. Ownership tips: keep an eye on tire pressures. Those fat tires can hide low pressure until you notice sluggish handling. Regular chain maintenance and timely oil changes will keep the little single humming happily. If you're on a carbureted model, a basic familiarity with jetting and synchronized cleaning will save you trips to the shop. If you plan to camp or carry gear, a small auxiliary fuel bottle and a well-secured soft bag or subrack will dramatically increase the bike's practical range and utility. My bottom line? The 2026 Yamaha TW200 is a wonderfully honest motorcycle. It's not trying to be everything, it's trying to be a very good version of a simple, versatile, low-cost dual sport. It rewards sensible riding with predictable behavior, it forgives mistakes with steady composure, and it offers a kind of unabashed fun that's easy to underestimate until you've spent a day exploring on one. If you want a cheap, cheerful, and versatile machine that makes both dirt and pavement accessible without drama, the TW is well worth a test ride. If you've got questions about specific modifications, luggage options, or real-world range, drop them in the comments and I'll dig into the details. Hit like if you enjoyed this, subscribe for more BikeBeat breakdowns, and ride safe. See you on the next one.